The Desert Star Motel sits alone on a forgotten highway, its neon sign flickering pink and turquoise into the desert night. The hum of electricity is the only companion for miles, echoing across the barren landscape where the wind carries secrets and sand in equal measure. It promises a clean bed and a hot shower, but on certain nights it feels more like a place where stories end than where they pause. The rooms are silent witnesses, their walls absorbing whispered arguments, laughter, and the restless dreams of travelers passing through. Thousands have passed through, leaving secrets behind locked doors. Some stay for a night, others for a week, but all leave a trace, an imprint on the faded carpet, a forgotten item in a drawer, a name scribbled in the register. This is a stop for the anonymous, a limbo between destinations. Here, identities blur and stories unravel in the hush of midnight as the world outside slips away into the desert's endless expanse. In 2009, one story here took a turn that would haunt the motel forever. The air that night was thick with anticipation, as if the desert itself sensed the coming storm. On a cool autumn evening, Frank Delaney pulled into the lot. Just another traveler, or so it seemed. His car, coated in a thin layer of dust, came to rest beneath the neon glow, the engine ticking as it cooled in the night air. He was about to check in, unaware that this unremarkable motel would become the epicenter of a baffling enigma. The clerk barely glanced up, the transaction routine, but fate was already at work behind the scenes. That night, the Desert Star was about to collect its most unsettling secret, and as the neon buzzed and the wind howled, the stage was set for a mystery that would echo through the years. Frank Delaney, 54, was a man of habit, reliable, predictable, and governed by routine. Every morning, he woke at precisely 6:15, brewed a single cup of black coffee, and read the newspaper before heading out. His suitcase was always packed the same way, with shirts folded in crisp lines and socks rolled tight. As a traveling salesman, he mapped his routes weeks in advance, stayed at the same motels, and called his wife every night at 9 without fail. He kept a logbook of every stop, every meal, and every client he visited. Even his evenings followed a pattern: a simple dinner, a brief walk around the parking lot, and a final check that the door was locked before bed. Frank's life was a series of small, deliberate actions, each one a comfort, a shield against the unexpected. On October 12, 2009, he deviated from his plan, pulling into the Desert Star, a place he'd never stayed before. For a man like Frank, this was more than a detour. It was a break from character. That single, inexplicable choice set in motion a chain of events that would end with his complete disappearance. Brenda, the night clerk, remembered Frank as tired but polite, asking for a quiet room on the second floor. She noted that he seemed distracted, glancing over his shoulder more than once as he spoke. He paid in cash, unusual for him, and asked, "How often are the rooms deep cleaned?" The security camera above the desk caught the exchange, but the audio was muffled. Brenda assured him of daily cleaning, but Frank seemed unconvinced. He hesitated before taking the key, as if weighing a decision. He signed in, took his key, and walked out of the lobby, captured on the only security camera. The timestamp read 8:47 p.m. There was no footage of him reaching his room, and no cameras in the halls or parking lot. Investigators later confirmed that the motel's other cameras had been out of order for weeks. At 9, his wife's phone stayed silent for the first time in 25 years. She later told police that Frank always called, no matter how late. She called, but it went straight to voicemail. She tried again and again, but there was no answer. By morning, worry had turned to dread. Frank Delaney had vanished. Police arrived to find his room untouched, his belongings neatly arranged, and no sign of a struggle. The only clue, a single glass of water on the nightstand, still half full. Police, alerted by Frank's wife, traced him to the Desert Star and approached room 214, a door that seemed to swallow the weak glow of the hallway lights. No answer. The silence behind the door was heavy, unnatural. With the manager's help, they entered, the hinges creaking like a warning. The room was immaculate, almost eerily so. The bed was made with military precision, surfaces gleaming under the harsh light, towels folded with unsettling care. Not a single personal item in sight. The air was thick with the stinging scent of industrial cleaners, far stronger than normal. It clung to the walls, burning in the back of the throat. It was as if the room had been sanitized for surgery, not for a guest. Every surface gleamed with a cold, clinical sheen, as if trying to erase any trace of what had happened here. No suitcase, no clothes, no toiletries, no sign anyone had ever stayed there. The closet yawned open, empty. Drawers slid out to reveal nothing but darkness. The officers exchanged uneasy glances, their voices hushed, as if afraid to disturb something lurking just out of sight. Frank's car was still in the lot, glistening with rain under the flickering streetlight. But inside room 214, it was as if he had vanished into thin air, leaving behind a space scrubbed of its very history. The only thing left behind was the overwhelming smell of bleach and ammonia, so strong it seemed to mask something deeper, something hidden. The mystery deepened. Room 214 felt less like a place and more like a void. Frank Delaney had not just disappeared. He had been erased, as if he'd never existed at all. Officers quickly realized this was no ordinary missing person case. The moment they entered room 214, a chill ran through the team. Something was off, and everyone could feel it. Housekeeping insisted they hadn't cleaned room 214. It was still marked as occupied, and the Do Not Disturb sign had hung on the door for days. Staff were adamant. No one had entered since Frank checked in. Yet, the chemical smell was overwhelming, a sharp, sterile scent that stung the eyes. It was a complete anomaly. No staff had used that much cleaner, and the intensity suggested a recent, thorough scrubbing. Forensics swept every surface, but found no fingerprints, not even on doorknobs, light switches, or remotes. It was as if the room had been wiped down with surgical precision. The room wasn't just empty, it was methodically wiped of all evidence. Even the trash cans were spotless, and not a single stray hair or fiber could be found. Someone had gone to extraordinary lengths to erase Frank's presence. Security footage revealed only a shadowy figure slipping down the hallway late at night, face obscured. The investigation shifted from a welfare check to a forensic mystery. Detectives began to suspect they were dealing with someone who knew exactly how to cover their tracks. The team prepared to search for the faintest traces of what had happened, using UV lights, advanced chemical tests, and painstaking attention to detail, hoping to uncover even the smallest clue that could explain Frank's disappearance. Forensics shut off the lights and swept the room with ultraviolet lamps. The darkness seemed to press in, broken only by the harsh, unnatural glow of the UV beams. Faint patterns glowed on the carpet and walls, evidence of intense targeted cleaning. A single, partial handprint flickered into view, then vanished as the light shifted. luminol revealed weak traces of blood, almost entirely scrubbed away. The outline of something dragged across the floor shimmered, then faded. The bathroom drain and grout showed chemical reactions consistent with cleaning away biological material. A faint, acrid scent lingered. Bleach and something else, metallic and sharp. It was a phantom crime scene. Evidence so faint it was more echo than statement. The investigators' own reflection seemed to watch them, silent and accusing. Someone hadn't just cleaned, they'd tried to chemically obliterate the room's history. Every surface whispered of secrets erased. This was no panicked cover-up. It was cold, calculated, and professional. The silence in the room felt deliberate, as if someone had planned for every trace to be gone. The clean room was the dirtiest crime scene investigators had ever seen. Every detail felt wrong. Too perfect, too empty. The evidence pointed to foul play, not a voluntary disappearance. But under the unforgiving light, the truth remained just out of reach, hidden in the shadows, waiting to be found. Investigators meticulously pieced together Frank's last known movements. He checked in, exchanged a few words with the receptionist, and then vanished without a trace. Security footage confirmed he entered room 214, but never showed him leaving. Theories abounded. A robbery gone wrong, a secret meeting, or simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Detectives questioned every guest and employee, but no one reported seeing or hearing anything unusual. The perfection of the cleanup suggested planning, not panic. Forensic teams found no fingerprints, no stray fibers, not even a partial shoe print, just the faintest chemical traces of cleaning agents. Frank's records showed no secret life, debts, or suspicious contacts. His digital footprint was unremarkable. No encrypted messages, no unexplained withdrawals, no evidence of blackmail or threats. The most chilling theory: he witnessed something he shouldn't have, and was erased to silence him. Some speculated about organized crime, others about a professional hit. His question about deep cleaning may have been a nervous reaction, or a sign he sensed danger. Investigators wondered if Frank had noticed something out of place, or if he was trying to leave a subtle clue. In the end, Frank Delaney was subtracted from the world with surgical precision. His belongings remained, untouched and undisturbed, as if he had simply stepped out for a moment. The room was spotless, but the mystery was anything but clean. For investigators, the case remains a haunting reminder. Sometimes people can be erased so completely, it's as if they never existed at all. Years later, the case remains open, but the trail is cold. The silence in room 214 is almost tangible, as if the walls themselves remember what happened. No body, no suspects, no DNA, just a thick file of dead ends. Each page in the file is a whisper, a faint echo of questions that will never be answered. Frank's car was returned to his family, a silent reminder of a journey unfinished. The keys, untouched, seemed to hum with the memory of a man who vanished without a trace. The Desert Star still stands, its neon sign buzzing, room 214 back in use. But at night, the hum of the sign seems to carry a question, echoing down the empty hallway. Guests sleep there, unaware of the story soaked into the floorboards. Sometimes, in the quietest hours, the room feels haunted by the weight of what's missing. The staff has changed, and the tale has faded into local legend. Yet, for those who pause and listen, the emptiness still speaks. For those who know, the room's silence is heavy, a place where absence is the only clue. Shadows linger in the corners, and every creak of the floorboards is a reminder of the unanswered. Frank Delaney left nothing behind, but his erasure lingers in the air. The room is a mirror, reflecting only what's missing, a haunting echo that refuses to fade. 16 years later, the mystery of Frank Delaney endures, a perfect puzzle with too many missing pieces. The rain still falls on the Desert Star Motel, as if trying to wash away secrets that refuse to fade. How does a man vanish from a locked motel room, leaving only the ghost of a cleanup? Who was the last person to see Frank alive, and what did they see? The case is a chilling reminder. Our traces can be erased, our stories deleted. But who had the motive to make Frank disappear so completely? Someone had the skill and resolve to not just commit a crime, but to edit the scene itself. Was it a stranger, or someone Frank trusted? The room is now a silent accomplice, its unnatural order more terrifying than chaos. What secrets are hidden in the silence, in the spaces between what's missing and what remains? Frank's story endures because it taps into a primal fear, the fear of being erased without a trace. Could it happen again? Could it happen to any of us? The room was scrubbed, but the story lingers, etched forever in the space where someone used to be. The questions remain, echoing in the empty halls. Where did Frank go? Who wanted him gone? And will we ever truly know?